Hi everybody, this is Dino from Prehistoric Facts, and this is a Q&A episode, so let's actually get started, shall we? So, first one's Lukezilla. First one is, who would win, Meganeura or three giant hornets? I mean, you see, Meganeura is a giant dragonfly that lived in the Carboniferous period, even though some fossils of Meganeura has been found to go all the way into the Permian, but the largest ones were in the Carboniferous. And they would actually have a wingspan of I want to say 3 feet, and so you actually had pretty large dragonflies in the Carboniferous. And then giant hornets, we're talking about the Asian giant hornets or the Japanese giant hornet. We can get pretty big. I mean, like they're probably a couple inches long. I would say probably pretty close to 3 inches long, and so they're pretty big and in that sort of thing. Meganeura, I mean, I don't know. This one's a really good one there, Luke. I'm not totally sure. I would think the Hornets might have a chance, but even though I think Meganeura's size would actually kind of scare them away a little bit, because usually the giant Hornets, they don't usually go after something that is larger than themselves besides humans. I mean, they can attack, like animals that are getting too close to the nest or have bothered the nest, but it's all about if they were provoked or not. And so I probably would say that if the Meganeura did not provoke a nest, then I probably would say then the Meganeura would not be worried about them, and the Hornets would not need to worry about the giant hornet. But I mean, I think this one could go either way, but that's a good one. Who would win, Jackalopterus howley or Brontoscorpio? So these are both sea scorpions or eurypterids, and so Jackalopterus is considered to be the largest of all the eurypterids or sea scorpions. It can get pretty close to 10 feet long, which is really, really big. That's a big sea scorpion. And they did not have a stinging tail like an actual scorpion, and so they kind of had like a paddle-like type of tail, and so they would mostly just be lying on the sea floor and just kind of feasting on like trilobites, any type of nautiloids, coiled, shelled, or straight cone nautiloids, you name it. And they got big pincers too, so it would almost look like a lobster in a way, but not really. But then Brontoscorpio would look like a scorpion. It would look like a scorpion. So that animal can get pretty close. Can get over 3 feet long, and so this one is the easy one. Is Jackalopterus. Jackalopterus would just shred apart Brontoscorpio. You know, as much as I like Brontoscorpio, Jackalopterus would take the cake on that one. It would definitely be the one that would win that one. And again, the last one there, Luke, is, did Anomalocaris sleep? That's a good question. So Anomalocaris is a type of arthropod, or a hard-shelled marine animal and so arthropods are animals that have skeletons on the outside of their bodies. So you think of like insects, and even like arachnids, like spiders, scorpions, ticks, mites, lobsters, crabs. Those are considered arthropods, but they're considered crustaceans as well. But they have skeletons on the outside of their body, and so with Anomalocaris, it has these these finger-like appendages, kind of like on the front there, kind of below, kind of in front of the feeding tube. They have feeding tubes. They don't really have jaws. They just have like these curly bits on the front to grab hold of their prey, and kind of like it has like these barb-like structures on there to kind of like scrape like some of the bits of, like, say, trilobites, to be able to like get to the innards of the trilobite and be able to suck them up. And so, and they have like these eyes on the top of their head, but these are not like eyes that like our eyes. They're kind of more like insect eyes, or like dragonfly eyes, so to speak. They have many lenses on their eyes. And so, did Anomalocaris sleep? Well, if you actually look at like how fish sleep, how they do it is that they kind of like have like kind of like a trance like state where they don't move as much, but they actually kind of like stall, but they're still breathing. And so, and just to let everybody know, Anomalocaris lived in the water at that point in time. So, how did this go about? So how did this actually happen? So they probably say they had a suspended like position, and so they were able to like sit, kind of like stay in kind of like in a trance-like state and be able to kind of rest that way. But they were still alert. They were still alert, so that way they can see like other Anomalocaris possibly coming. And so yeah, I would probably say that their version of sleep is different compared to like our version of sleep, where like it just close your eyes and you fall asleep that way, and then you wake up afterward. But that's a really good question, Luke. All right, Brendan, how many fingers How many fingers does Cryolophosaurus have? Well, Cryolophosaurus is a primitive theropod dinosaur that lived in Antarctica in the early Jurassic period. And so this one is particular because there haven't been any finger bones that have been found of Cryolophosaurus. So it's been basically guesswork of how many fingers Cryolophosaurus has. Most reconstructions that I've seen, it has 4 fingers. It has 4 fingers, and so the 4th finger has been reduced, so it would actually kind of be like a very small like finger like appendage, or small tiny little finger, but it probably could have been covered by skin for like the 3rd finger. But that's a really good question there, Brendan. I think Cryolophosaurus mostly have 4. I think at the highest is 4, but it could also have 3. But I think 4 is where it was. Alex, do you think that some of the saber-toothed cat species had manes? This is a very good question, Alex. I like this question. So did some of the saber-toothed cat species have manes? Well, most of the depictions that we have seen is that most of these saber-toothed cats, especially the males, they didn't really have that much of manes at all. They're not like lions in a way. They probably had more like kind of like a straight like mohawk type of mane, where it's like on the back of the neck, to determine if it was like maybe the hair was longer and that sort of thing. That's probably my guess. But in terms of like how we determine if they did have manes, it's really, really hard to tell, because we haven't found a well-preserved specimen that has like fur to actually confirm if it did had a mane. Most of the time, most depictions just have no manes at all, because if you're a really large cat that has these like saber teeth, I think just the saber teeth alone would actually determine like who you really are. But of course, like the females didn't have any manes. But what would determine the males? That is still hard to tell. Maybe the males were like more muscular and heavier than the females, or were they maybe they were just slightly larger than the females? We don't know. We really don't know. And so, but that's a really good question, Alex. I like that question. And then Benjamin, is Prionosuchus the biggest of all prehistoric amphibians? It is one of the longest prehistoric amphibians. I am not totally sure in terms of largest, but I think it is one of the longest ones. In terms of like body mass, it's up there. It's definitely up there. I don't know for certain, but I think it is one of them. Is Smilodon the best known of all prehistoric mammals? Best known of prehistoric animals, that's really kind of not like the best way to ask this one. I probably would say is it like Do we know a lot about Smilodon? Absolutely. But in terms of say about of its overall behavior, what it did possibly look like, that is still to be determined. The behavior we can really guess nicely based on say other cat species of what they have done and what they do for behavior. But in terms of what they look like, it's still up for debate. And also in terms of say how did they use their teeth is still debatable. It's still debatable. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably say it is one of the best known carnivorous mammals of the Pleistocene. But in terms of overall, that one I couldn't answer that one. I would probably say it's like we have a lot of specimens. We also have pretty good ideas of what they possibly have behaved like and all that, and what they could possibly use their saber teeth for. But yeah, that I would probably ask that question a little bit differently. Is Kronosaurus the most dangerous of all prehistoric swimming reptiles? That is how you would interpret dangerous. Like, does it have the highest bite force? Is it the most aggressive? We don't know. We really don't know. I would say mosasaurs are more dangerous than Kronosaurus, because Kronosaurus is a pliosaur, and mosasaurs I would say are more dangerous than the pliosaurs. Pliosaurs still have those really big skulls and can have pretty good bite forces, but mosasaurs, they were quick and they had incredible bite force. I would probably say mosasaurs are more dangerous than Kronosaurus, but that is what you determine as dangerous in terms of aggressiveness and bite force wise and all that sorts of stuff. That's to be determined. I would go with mosasaurs, but Kronosaurus is still pretty dangerous no matter what. And who would win, Aerostion or Basiaversor? So Aerostion is a type of theropod dinosaur. It's a large theropod dinosaur that could get close to 30 feet long. I believe it's a Metriacanthosaurid, or otherwise it's a type of megaraptor or megalosaurid, if I remember correctly. But it could also be an allosaurid too. It could be an allosaurid. And so they got the arms with the big claws, large claws, not as long as like say Therizinosaurus or anything like that. I'm talking about like good sized claws, like say Allosaurus type of claws. And then Basiaversor is a type of tyrannosaur that lived in the late Cretaceous period, and that can get close to 25 feet long. In terms of this one, Aerostion has the size, but I'd say Basiaversor's got the speed, and also it's got the bite force. So I'd probably say Basiaversor would actually have a pretty good shot at beating Aerostion. But even though Aerostion could get in some good shots using its size to be able to like nudge away some of the counter moves, some of the moves of Basiaversor, but I go with Basiaversor. Tyrannosaurs in the late Cretaceous period were way more used to battle than like certain types of like allosaurids or metriacanthosaurids. But I would go with I think more likely Aerostion's a type of allosaur, if I remember correctly. But somebody in the comments let me know what Aerostion really is. I think it's an allosaur, if I remember correctly, but or a megalosaurid. But let me know. But Basiaversor is a Tyrannosaur, and I would go with the Tyrannosaur in this one. That's it for now. That's all the questions I got for you today to answer. And so next week will be a special episode. I'll let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to talk about. So stay tuned for that. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com. Or go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you actually post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers for private conversations. So please put your questions in the comment section, because that helps out distinguish the questions. so that we can easily find them. And also for YouTubers out there, like the video, subscribe to the channel, because according to my analytics, a lot of you guys that are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet. So please hit that subscribe button. It's free. There's no charge to that. And also hit that like button. It helps out the algorithm to spread out the videos to anybody that's interested in dinosaurs and other prehistoric life. And so please feel free to do that. And also hit that notification bell so that we can get notifications weekly for every video that comes out. So I do videos weekly. I don't do it like every single day or every other day, because it takes up way too much time. So just once a week type of episodes. And for you YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section, because I do read them all. Your questions do mean a lot in these Q&A episodes. You guys are awesome, giving me some great questions from via the comment section on YouTube, comment section on Facebook, and even in my emails. You guys are just bringing some great questions, so keep up the good work and bringing me some good questions for these good Q&A episodes like this one. And make sure you keep your questions short and to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at dino.crest.pf. I'll post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRAL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of the people around you. And also for younger people out there that makes a list of your parents and teachers and your guardians. So best motivates you for a good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you guys next week.